I got rejected on Valentine's Day. Here it goes. I should have known. I should have seen it coming. The signs were all there. The short responses, the ghosting, the way his eyes never really met with mine, the way he laughed just a little too hard at other people's jokes, but barely reacted to mine. But I ignored it. I convinced myself I was overthinking. I spent days rehearsing what to say, imagining all the ways it could go. If he said yes, I'd act surprised, like I hadn't been holding my breath for this moment. But if he said no, well, I didn't let my mind linger on that long. So there I was, standing in front of him, my heart slamming against my ribs, my palms damp. He looked up at me, a little confused, like he hadn't even considered the possibility of this conversation. That should have been my first clue. I like you more than just a friend. I was wondering if maybe you... I never got to finish. He said, no. Flat. Immediate. Like he had been handed a test with only one answer. And he didn't even need to think about it. I felt my face burn. But I forced myself to stay still, to act like my stomach hadn't just dropped to the floor. He cleared his throat, rubbing the back of his neck. I just don't see you that way, you know? Yeah, I knew. I nodded quickly, too quickly. Oh, totally, no worries. A lie. He gave me an awkward half smile, like if he was trying to make me feel better, but he only made me feel smaller. And then, just like that, he was gone, walking away like this moment meant nothing to him. And maybe it didn't, but it meant everything to me. I stood there swallowing down the lump in my throat, blinking hard against the sting in my eyes. The world moved on like nothing had happened, like I wasn't standing in the middle of my own humiliation. And that was the worst part. I walked away as fast as I could without looking like I was running. Every step felt heavy, like my body wasn't mine anymore. My chest ached, but I kept my face blank. No one could see how much this hurt. No one could know. I reached the bathroom and locked myself in a stall. My hands were shaking. My throat burned, but I refused to cry. No, not here. Not now. I leaned against the wall, taking slow, deep breaths. It's fine. You're gonna be fine. It was just a question, and he said no. That's all. But it wasn't just a question. It was hope. A fragile, stupid hope that had been shattered in seconds. I thought about every moment we had spent together. Every time I thought maybe he felt something too. Every time he smiled at me. Every time our conversations stretched late into the night. I had imagined it all. Had I been fooling myself this whole time? I squeezed my eyes shut. It didn't matter now. The answer was clear. After a few minutes, I forced myself to stand up straight. I smoothed my shirt, wiped my hands on my jeans, and looked at myself in the mirror. My face was red, my eyes slightly glassy, but I took a deep breath and told myself, you are more than this moment, you are more than his rejection, and then I walked out. The rest of the day felt like a blur. I went through the motions pretending to be fine, laughing at the jokes I didn't hear, nodding along to conversations I wasn't part of. I told myself it didn't matter, that I would move on, but the worst part came later. When I saw him again, he acted completely normal, like nothing had happened, like my confession was just a passing moment, not the worst nerve-wracking thing I ever done. And maybe that was the part that hurt me the most. As to me, it was everything, but for him, it was nothing.